Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan, and thank you Angie for suggesting this video to me. So I'm sure most of you guys who have been following vegan content for a while here on YouTube have run across many influencers, carnivore and paleo, who base their diet on some fantasy that they've concocted, or heard from other influencers about what our ancestors ate. The fantasy goes something like, yeah, our ancient ancestors ate this predominantly meat, animal protein heavy diet, and that's why carnivore and paleo and all these diets are so wonderful for us. But yeah, a new study's been published and the media's been running with it, how cavemen may have been vegan, as a remarkable new study says humans ate mostly plants. This last story I showed here from The Independent says, a new study has debunked in general the meal plan behind the paleo diet, with findings suggested that some Stone Age people ate mostly a vegan diet. Well, first of all, let's address the issue where cavemen vegan, as some of these news articles are saying in their headlines. And like, no, cavemen were not vegan. Veganism is a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. And just because, as a study showed, that some cavemen in some parts of the world, in some parts of history, were eating a high plant diet, very little meat, doesn't mean they were doing it for ethical reasons. They were just trying to survive to the next day. They were eating a vegan diet, as this article correctly states. So with that distinction out of the way, that they weren't vegan cavemen, let's have a look at this study and see what it says exactly. And we'll see, when we're done with all that, how the claims of those guys I showed earlier, those pro-carnivore, all our ancestors evolved to eat meat kind of thing, let's see if that makes any sense in light of what the science actually says. So here's the actual study published in Nature, Ecology, and Evolution. And as you can see from the study's title, it involved using isotopes to determine what kinds of foods these people ate from the later Stone Age. And the abstract begins by saying this transition from hunting-gathering to agriculture stands as one of the most important dietary revolutions in human history. Yet, due to a scarcity of well-preserved human remains from the Pleistocene sites, little is known about the dietary practices of pre-agricultural human groups. So here in the study, they're presenting isotopic evidence of pronounced plant reliance amongst these late Stone Age hunter-gatherers from North Africa from like 15,000 BC, predating the advent of agriculture by several thousands of years. And in the abstract here, the researchers made it super abundantly clear what their findings were. It says, our results unequivocally, means there's no ambiguity, demonstrate a substantial plant-based component in the diets of these hunter-gatherers. So this one study alone should put to rest this notion that all our ancient Paleolithic ancestors all over the world were eating this high-meat diet. It's our ancestral diet to eat a bunch of meat. No, these guys are doing just fine on eating a near-vegan diet. And they weren't dying, the plants didn't kill them. So in anticipation of meat proponents saying, well, these guys are just weird outliers, you know, most of our ancestors still ate meat, just these weirdos in North Africa were eating a bunch of plants. Like, no, these aren't the only Paleolithic people found in history to be eating a high plant diet. This recent article in Inverse discussing this very study that we're talking about in this video discusses that the Iber-Maurusians, the North Africans in this study, aren't the first group of early humans to demonstrate a rich plant diet in the age before agriculture. Another group of hunter-gatherers called the Natufians in Western Asia exploited wild plant growth to the degree that they eventually cultivated and domesticated them, leading to formal agriculture. This article in Inverse does throw a little bone, so to speak, to the pro-meat is my ancestry crew. It says, in Europe, what we usually see is that the hunter-gatherers were eating a lot of meat or fish. And this is not what we see here in this North African study. I'm sure the whole pro-meat is my ancestry crew is going to take something completely different from what I just read there, but my take from that is that people in these ancient times, pre-civilization, pre-agriculture, these hunter-gatherers, didn't have ideologies or anything like that. Ooh, I eat a diet in accordance. No, they were just trying to survive. They were trying to get to the next day and not die. And they were opportunists and ate what was immediately available to them in their environments. Meaning they didn't have the luxury that we have in civilization with supermarkets and grocery stores and liquor stores, and you could buy food at gas stations and Walmart, Target, Costco. They hunted and gathered what they needed to in order to survive. And that means different peoples and different parts of the planet, different latitudes, different parts of the Paleolithic era. They all had different environmental situations. Some ate a ton of plants, as we saw here in this study. Again, dispelling this whole notion that all our ancient ancestors were eating all this meat. So therefore, truly, there's really no way to describe what the paleo diet is. It depends on, again, all these various factors that I just listed there. And to assert that the Paleolithic diet means eating a bunch of animal protein is just plain wrong. Yeah, it may have been true for some peoples in some part of the Paleolithic era, but then you're conveniently ignoring tons of others. But anyway, to base your whole dietary philosophy on some non-evidence-based fantasy of how your ancestors may have eaten is just purely misguided. Again, we don't live in those times where we need to just eat what's in our immediate environment to survive and not die. Like I mentioned earlier, we have the luxury of going to stores, the whole food system that we have in civilization. That means if you're watching this video right now, if you have access to the internet and YouTube, you're in civilization and you're not in a survival situation, which means you have the ability to make ethical decisions about what you eat. You can decide, hey, I don't need to have animals raised to be slaughtered in order for me to live. You can go to the store and instead of buying the packaged meat that you stick in your microwave, you can buy plants and eat them and be living proof that it's not necessary to eat animal proteins in order for you to accomplish what you want to be in life, to be healthy, to be a professional athlete. You can do that completely on a 100% plant diet. Don't believe me? Why should you? I'm not a health professional, but here are the opinions of health organizations from around the world who have reviewed the relevant scientific research in plant-based diets and health and nutrition, and they're all saying pretty much the same thing, that a well-planned vegan diet is nutritionally adequate for all people. And that's what we do here on Happy Healthy Vegan. We're a very evidence-based show. We just don't spout fantasies that sound nice or romantic. We actually look to see what's actually true and what's not. So anyway, guys, leave your questions and comments down below. I hope this doesn't stir up too much mean, nasty discussion here. I don't mean to start wars against people promoting paleo or carnivore or anything like that. I'm just showing what the science says. Don't attack the messenger. I'm just showing you what the actual scientists say. If you don't like what they're saying, debunk their studies. Write a paper, get it peer reviewed and published as to why these researchers are wrong or something like that, how their isotope analysis is bogus. So go for it. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. Anyway, guys, comment down below, hit like, share this video, and if you really want to tell me what a horrible person I am because I eat plants, you can come to my Friday live streams, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'll see you guys then. So remember, until then, doesn't suck being vegan.